Hello,
Hoş geldiniz.
I'm Dr. Işılay Gürsu,
I'm Dr. Peter Cherry.
and welcome to the podcast Heritage Turkey by the British Institute at Ankara.
And the British Institute at Ankara is a British research institute in Ankara, Turkey, and it is one of the British International Research Institutes, the BIRIs.
And we are supporting and generating research all over social sciences, mostly concentrating on archaeology, cultural heritage management, and Ottoman and contemporary Turkey.
That's right. And it wasn't always that way, though. So we were founded in 1947, initially as an archaeology research institute by John Garstang. But in 2007, we diversified our work to include interdisciplinary research across all of the arts, humanities and social sciences, with a focus on Turkey and the Black Sea region.
And with this podcast, Heritage Turkey, we would like to interview or hold conversations with leading experts, researchers, and academics who are doing research affiliated with the British Institute at Ankara in different capacities. And maybe we can give a couple of examples of our guests.
Yeah, you can expect to hear a episode with Dr. John McManus, who is formerly a British Institute at Ankara postdoc fellow, and he'll be talking on Turkish football.
And also you can expect to hear from Dr. Michele Massa, who is currently conducting excavations in Konya Türkmenkaraöyük, and Michele has been affiliated with the BIA in different capacities, and he received funding to conduct these excavations in Konya.
And we will also be hearing from Işılay herself and our director, Dr. Lutgarde van der Put, on the Pisidia Heritage Trail, which is a heritage trail which the BIA has been researching and working on since how long?
Since 10 years, basically.
10 years. So there you go. So Işılay, tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I have been affiliated with the BIA for the last 11 years, and I joined the institute as a postdoc research on cultural heritage management to actually conduct research on the Pisidia region to revitalize the region in terms of generating social and economic income for the local communities through archaeological heritage. And this is one of the key areas where the institute is doing research on and also doing field work. We have been also conducting a lot of activities for the safeguarding of archaeological assets in Turkey. How about you, Peter?
So just proving again that no one ever really leaves the BIA. I first came to the BIA as a postdoctoral fellow in 2017, and I was working on a project looking at Turkish travel writing of Britain and British travel writing of Turkey. However, I kept my affiliation with the BIA, and years later, I've come back as an assistant director. But I've been living in Turkey on and off, I think, for about 7 years, both in Istanbul and in Ankara. So my roots with Turkey go deep. So
we have a lot of researchers, we have a lot of people who have been affiliated with the BIA over these 75 years since it has been founded, actually. And we would like to bring this research to your attention, to share the results of this research with bigger audiences. We have a magazine called Heritage Turkey. That's where the name of the podcast comes from, actually. And in this magazine, we always ask the research that is being funded by the BIA to write reports that are going to be understood by the general public and that is not very technical. So this podcast is actually going to bring it to life.
Exactly. And if you become a member of the BIA, you do get that magazine as part of the membership, actually. But this podcast, you don't need to join the BIA for. This is free and open access. But again, it's just an opportunity to open the doors a bit to the British Institute Ankara to you, where you can hear about the research that we're undertaking and also generating. But let's talk a little bit about what you can expect at the British Institute at Ankara, and we're always open if you're in Ankara to come give us a visit. So what is the BIA like, Işılay?
Actually, we have one of the biggest archaeology libraries. We hold more than 60,000 volumes, mostly on archaeology, but recently we have been also purchasing books on contemporary Turkey and Ottoman studies as well as cultural heritage management. And we can probably proudly say that we have managed to build a quite unique collection, especially in cultural heritage management. But also you can use the library as a space to focus and study. We are on Atatürk Bulvarı, number 154, and our doors are always open. And especially if you come on a Tuesday at 11 o'clock, we have tea and cake.
Yeah, in fact, actually every day at 11 there is a tea time, which is a nice fusion of Turkish and British traditions. But yeah, only on Tuesday for the cake. But to say about the library, we also have, so as Ushalai says, initially we were an archaeology institute, but we also have this growing collection in Ottoman and contemporary Turkish studies too. I say growing, but recently we were looking at what is our oldest book. And you can have a look at our restricted collections if you talk nicely to one of the librarians. And we think, maybe in a future episode I'll be able to tell you for sure, but we think the oldest book we have is an 18th century book from a German diplomat to the Ottoman Empire. So, it again shows that we're engaged in all sorts of research, from history, from literature, from culture, cinema, through to archaeology, through to cultural heritage management. If it's to do with Turkey and the Black Sea, we're probably going to be interested, which is why you should listen to our podcast.
Exactly. And with all this legacy data, one of the works that we are doing recently is to digitize most of this data. And we would like to make it publicly available. And our digital repository is hosting all this data. So with this history of more than 75 years and library collections, as well as other physical collections, we are also inviting the users to have a look at our digital repository, which is offering exciting opportunities for research.
Exactly. And you can access some of that on our website, www.bia.ac.uk. And also we actually have like a nice growing group of interns coming from universities generally in Ankara that are helping us process that. So we're also giving back to Turkey, I think, which is also good as well.
And the main aim of this particular podcast, Heritage Turkey, is actually to make all this information available in a more user-friendly way.
Exactly. So I think what's left to say is I think tune in every 3 to 4 weeks.
Yes.
And you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. And we should also be having a page on our website for the podcast as well. So I guess until then, görüşürüz.
Görüşürüz, and thank you so much.
Thanks.